Yo, we back again. You know we never slacking off. Judah Ben, yo. Ladies and gents, get prepared for another greater event. If you never linked, then make an attempt. On Fridays, there's really no other way to be spent. Tune in, hit the link, and leave likes and comments. Welcome to TD Sports Talk. Here we bring sports and entertainment weekly. They break it down deeply. Come peep me as I spit, leave most confused. Pay attention while I introduce the host and crew. Starting off, we got Tommy the host. He plugged in, his predictions transparent like a ghost. Yo, I think that he been doing this the most. He first joined in March 2013. His resume was first seen. Then we got the co-host, Mr. Socrates. His analogy surgical like a doctor squeeze. The live show was nasty like a dirty beer. Tommy and Sock, they've been friends for over 30 years. Peep me, we got the final host, D-Free from out of DC. You need to wake up, you sleepy. If you checking out the live and you feel the vibes, like the video, subscribe, get notified. Take a picture cause this moment should be polarized. Tommy's legacy and resume is notarized. Whether it's Friday or Saturday, he going live. Click the bell and I promise you'll get notified. Yeah. Welcome to TD Sports Talk. Friday and Saturday. Tune in. They're going live late. Word them up. Shout out to Tommy, Socrates, D-Free. Word them up, word them up. Judah Ben. Yo. Tell a friend or tell a friend, son.
Champion of the world. Shout out to TD Sports. TD Sports. Let's go, champ.
Gotcha.
TD Sports Talk in the house. Let's go. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, buddy!
Yo, what's good? What's good? What is good? It is another edition of Friday Night Sports Talk. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. I've been going live, but haven't been doing the Friday Night Sports Talk show. We're going to start bringing that back, especially now that football season is now approaching. And we'll do more of these. I've just been very busy with a couple of other shows that I've been working on, you know, Keep It in the Ring, and then Tales from the B-Side. By the way, before I get to it, let me do the preview for the Tales of the B-Side for this Sunday at 7:00 before we get into this live. Give me 1 second. Let's get into it. This is the special guest we got for this Sunday. We got Ross the Boss Thompson. If you don't know who this is, look him up. He's from Buffalo, New York. He trained out in Vegas with Roger Mayweather, and he's got a lot of stories. I don't want to spoil it, but look up him and Vargas. He slapped Vargas at the press conference, and then when Vargas knocked him down, he eventually knocked him out. He tried to spit on him, so it was crazy. But he's got a lot of stories, man, and I'm excited for this one. I'm gonna play a little preview, and then we'll get into what we're gonna talk about today.
Usual suspects.
From Buffalo, New York, ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, the IBF #1 ranked welterweight in the world, Ross the Boss Thompson.
You can only die once. Usual suspects.
Yeah. So that's what's going to be this Sunday. Don't miss it, 7:00 Eastern. You can catch it on my channel here at TD Sports Talk, or you can catch it with the Good Doctor, KG, K_G, the Good Doctor KG. And the link will be in the post. I'll make a post about it so you can catch it either on his live or my live. It doesn't matter. I honestly prefer you kind of go over to KG live and build it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love. We all team here. You know what I'm saying? And let's get to it. Let me see who's in the chat real quick, and then I'll introduce obviously my main man, the co-host, the number one co-host, because my number one co-host hasn't been showing up. But let me see who's in the building real quick. My man Hot Rod Horseplay, what's good, bro? He says, Link, give me a little bit. We're gonna cook a little bit, and then I'll start bringing people up. All right. G5 Gay, what's popping, man? What's good? What's good? Yeah, just give me a little bit, Hot Rod, and I got you, bro. We like to start off and cook first before we start letting people come up and stuff. That's just the way I kind of do my live. So I apologize if you might have thought otherwise, but it's nothing against you or anyone. This is just how we kind of do it. So, and then let me introduce my man D Free. What's good, D Free? What's going on, man?
Man, what's good? What's good? What's good?
You know what I thought you was gonna do? I thought you was gonna say, yo,
We
what you
are
usually.
back!
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Plastic. We are back. We are back.
Yeah, man, we back. I apologize to everybody. We haven't, I've been busy with stuff. My man G5 shouting you out,
What's going
D
on,
Free.
G5?
Yeah, we just I've been busy. Last week, as you guys know, if you've been following, I was at the fights, I was covering the press conference, I was at the weigh-in, and then we was at the fights. I got a chance to not only meet a lot of fighters and network a little bit, I got to meet BVO. We spoke about that. We got a live, we spoke about that. BVO had a great time. It was kind of like an early birthday gift for him. And he got to meet, Abdullah Mason, his hometown guy, and a few other fighters. So it was a nice time. It was a good event, and now we're here. And one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to go live today is because it's kind of gonna. I think it's gonna be dead for a few weeks. We're gonna have boxing, but it's not gonna be like it was. Man, I've been truly spoiled out here in New York City. We've had about 4 fights here within a month in New York. We had the women's card, we had the Hitchens card, we had the top rank card, and I feel like I'm missing another one. And then we had the card in the Louis Armstrong with Shakur.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been spoiled, and people in New York and the East Coast been kind of spoiled
And then
as well.
shortly before that, you had the Times Square card.
Then yeah, we had the Times Square card like a month or two before that. I believe that was April. I can't remember. It was April.
That
Was
was
it April?
I think that was May 2nd.
May 2nd? Yeah, so that was a month before. June was Hitchens. Hitchens was the main event, and then we had the back-to-back nights where we had the all women's card Friday. We had the Berlanga and Shakur headline a fight in Queens in the Louis Armstrong building, and then this last weekend. So
Yeah,
um,
New York been on fire.
yeah, it's been like a hotbed. Like it's they've been on fire. We've been on fire here, and now it's going to be a little bit dead for a while. So we'll see what happens. And one of the things I wanted to talk to, like the title of the show, we're talking a little bit about the Tank fans and the Tank haters and about Tank Davis, and do fans really love boxing? That's really what I really want to go with, and I want to use Tank Davis in the scenario because I feel like he's getting mistreated when I feel like it's been kind of a cry for help for some time from him. And then at the same time, last week Xander Zayas became world champ, and yours truly, I've been critical of Xander, but I think it's good criticism because I'm a fan of Xander and I want to see him do well, and I just don't think he's ready for certain guys in the division. But at the same time, I've seen people kind of shit on this man and kind of saying the same things I am, but in a negative way, and not giving the guy his flowers because the guy is 22 years old and is a world champion. How can you not appreciate what he's done up to this point? Becoming a world champion is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just feel like content creators, fans, haters, are just, yeah, what's the word? They're not realistic, and they always want something more out of a fighter, and they don't understand what the fighters really go through. And I just don't think it's fair. And I think you need to appreciate, the people that get in that ring. the people that put it on the line and put their life on the line, the people that train hard, and what they have to go through to get to that point of even getting the opportunity to challenge for a world title. So I just want to discuss all of this. Before I get to it, there was some big news, kind of big news. Keyshawn Davis went live today on Instagram, started talking about, he was apologizing. He seemed very genuine in his apology. I thought it was kind of genuine. Then he starts talking about he may want to retire. So I don't know where you want to lead off, D Free. But we can lead off with Keyshawn because that's kind of new and fresh. That just kind of happened today, and then we can go into Tank and Xander. I don't know where you want to go in. I'll play the video if you want. Some clips. I have a clip of what he was talking about. I think we can start off with that. What do you think?
Yeah, we can talk. We can start off with Keyshawn. We can start off
Okay.
with Keyshawn.
Let me play a couple of clips that I got from his live today.
Grow from stuff, and for the kids that's watching this right now, like, I was wrong, and I acted like a kid that night. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't take a loss. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people in our camp. I'm not gonna mention, but a lot of people, not a lot of people, but other people in our camp took losses too, and I'm seeing how they go about things and all that stuff, and I'm like, damn, why the hell I can't do that? Like, I don't know, but you live and you learn. For the kids watching this, man, learn from my mistakes. Like my mistake was public, and definitely tough pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? So just learn from my mistakes, man. Don't do what I do. Right now, like, I'm in a position where, as far as like my career and stuff like that, y'all keep asking me, like, what's next? Y'all keep asking me, like, 140. Y'all keep asking me, like, 135. Bro, at this point, I'm damn near retired. At this point, I don't hear nothing from nothing. I ain't hearing. Hey, y'all don't worry about the businessman. But the businessman is done. He's retired. He's gone. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna see me at fights and stuff though. But in the ring, it's kind of slow right now in the ring. So if y'all want me back, y'all go talk to y'all friends or something. Go talk to my promoter. Y'all want me back in the ring.
Yeah, that's Keyshawn. What do you take from that? Let me read this comment from my man Hot Rod Horseplay. He says, OJ missed me with the BS. If everyone had Top Rank behind them fighters would be in better situation. That man didn't fight no elite opponent for that belt. This is true, but I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it because he was supposed to fight Fundora. They were trying to make that fight with Fundora, and Fundora chose not to fight him and take the rematch with Zoo and give Zoo the rematch, and there was no need for that. And that's because of his manager, Samson Lukovic, or whatever his name is. He's a real jerk. We've seen what happened with the De Los Santos situation with him. I'll get to it in a minute, but let's start off with Keyshawn. What do you thought about that, D Free, with Keyshawn's comments?
From what it seemed like Bob Murray was fed up with the shenanigans that Keyshawn pulled that night, and the whole situation where he had to pull out of the fight because of his weight. Because he missed weight, and the fight was called off. I ain't gonna say he pulled out. The fight was called off. And then it followed up behind what happened after Keon and Albright fight. Albright. After their fight, it seemed like, because he said, if you want me back in the ring, talk to my promoter. It seemed like Bob Arum put him on the shelf for a little while and said, hey, you gotta calm yourself down. We're gonna have to put you on the shelf. I know that you didn't get a suspension from the Boxing Association, but you're gonna get a suspension from me. And so that's what it seemed like to me, which it's a good thing, because now he can reflect on his mistakes, as you see he has, because this is that happened a while ago. He's just now coming out and apologizing. So he had time to sit down and reflect on the mistakes that he has made. And I mean, like I said, that's a good thing because he was moving in the wrong direction. He felt invincible that he can go out here and do whatever he wants, and people was going to be behind him. So maybe he'll learn from this, and when he does get back in the ring, he can say, "Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna act in that manner again, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable and be more professional." So it seemed like Bob might have put him on the shelf for a little while until he got his act together.
It was funny. I didn't pick up on that, but that's a very good point. It very well could be that. It kind of sounds like he is frustrated, and you know what? I didn't even think about that, and I should have thought about that because, um, he was at the event. Him and both his brothers were at the Berlanga Shakur fight in Queens. They were there. They were with Turkey. They were talking and everything. So, who knows what they have in store. Um, I think he was. I think he also was genuine in his responses as far as like apologizing to Albright and taking accountability of what he did wrong. Now, if you recall, we did do a live after that. Holding Keyshawn accountable because I'm a big Keyshawn supporter. I like Keyshawn. I've been to a couple of his fights. I've met Keyshawn. I spoke to Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? He seems like a very humble individual. He seemed like a very nice guy. They just did something stupid. And I think once he takes account of what he did, which is kind of what he's, did today, speaking in his live, then he can move on. Now I don't know what Top Rank and Bob Arum or Brad Goodman, what they have in store. But this talk of retirement, I don't buy it either. But what I don't like is when fighters start to talk that way or speak that way, it to me, I take it as like almost is like an excuse of what's going to happen to come, like like to me you're telling me you're not really going to put your full 110% in it as you was doing. It's like you're frustrated with the game, you're frustrated with a result, and it's like, do you have the hunger anymore to fight? And that's how I took it a little bit, and it's kind of sad to see. And it's kind of sad to see with a lot of fighters because these fighters do go through a lot. Maybe they're making a lot of money. Some of them making millions, some of them making six figures in the
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of thousands, which is pretty comfortable. It's better than what most are doing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we don't really know what they're going through. So when somebody speaks like that, it's kind of like, maybe an excuse is a bad word, but it's kind of like, you're frustrated with something. So are you frustrated with yourself? Are you frustrated with the sport? Are you frustrated with the situation? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's kind of telling me. That's how I kind of interpret what he's saying here in this live. But I do feel like it was needed as far as the apology. I like that he addressed the kids also, and that he called himself a kid as well. He said I acted like a kid, and he's
Mm-hmm.
a grown man that needs to mature. Hey, look, I'm 48 years old. I need to mature myself. I'm a big ass clown, and sometimes I gotta mature. Sometimes I play too much. And it's just things you gotta live and learn. As life goes on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just don't think my wife is applauding me sarcastically. Thanks for messing up my life, my thought. I don't know if you heard the clapping, but anyway, um, you just messed up my thought. Thanks. But yeah, I think it was genuine. I just don't like to talk when fighters start talking about retirement when they have, especially at Keyshawn's age, and he just getting started. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that. I gotta gracefully thank my wife and daughter for clapping sarcastically while I was trying to speak. So the floor is yours, D Free.
Yeah. Nah, I agree. I see Shaba said, well, maybe he's a free agent until he finds another promoter. I don't think he's a free agent. I think he say he feels like he's a free agent. I don't think he is a free agent. I think like I said, I believe that Bob probably put him on the show. Um, but like I said, he seemed like he had time to reflect and understand that the way he acted wasn't the right way to do things. And like he said my whole team took a loss that night. Um, and because I mean, let's be honest. He might be the middle son, but everybody looks at him as the superstar. He's the biggest name out of the brothers. So the way he goes is the way the brothers goes because they're all following behind him. Even though he's the middle, they're all following behind him because people wouldn't know who Keon was. They wouldn't know who Keldon is if it wasn't for Keyshawn. Now, I mean, we might have heard of them, but we wouldn't be following them as much as we are if it wasn't for Keyshawn. So I think he gotta understand sometimes you're even though you're not the oldest child, people still look up to you, even though you're in a situation where you're the middle son and you have an older brother who's in the same sport that you in. Sometimes the younger son or the middle child sometimes they take the leadership role because of certain circumstances. Keyshawn just happened to be more talented than his other brothers, so he was able to get situations handed to him that his brothers wouldn't have got because of the talent that he has. So I think at the end of the day, I think he learned his lesson. But it's still going to be some time before he gets back in the ring because when Bob Arum puts you on the shelf, he usually puts you on the shelf for like a year or so. So it's probably going to be sometime next summer before we see Keyshawn again.
Wow, man, that would be bad. And what stinks is that I don't think Kelvin is signed by Top Rank. I have to research and double check that. I think Keon was signed, but I don't think Kelvin was signed. I think they add Kelvin to the card when Keyshawn, with Keyshawn's fights, but I don't know if he's a Top Rank fighter. And Keon, I'm not sure because he just started. I think he has 2 fights or 3 fights. I think he has 3 fights.
Yeah,
Keon, I'm not sure if he's signed. I want to say yes. Um, but I
yeah.
have
I
to
don't I
research
don't I
that.
don't know if Keldon is neither because I have seen Keldon on like the zone cars
Yeah.
and so I don't know if he is either. It might just be yeah, he said no, he was on Pro Box too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I mean it might be just Keyshawn. Um, but like I said, at the same token, Keyshawn was privileged to certain situations that his brother's not because of his talent. And he was a silver medalist in the Olympics, and he has top rank behind him. So he was privileged to certain situations that his brother wasn't, and so they're following behind his footsteps.
Yeah.
Where the way he goes is the way they go. So he got to understand that he has a whole family behind him.
And that's a very good point, and especially with Kelvin being the oldest of the three, and Kelvin kind of I think he quit boxing for like a year or two, and then kind of got back into it. And then, that might have been because of Keyshawn. Maybe Keyshawn kind of motivated him to get back in the ring. And then Keon, who looked up to both his brothers, he took on. I think he did the Junior Olympics, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he did. I know he was Golden Gloves, and I think he made nationals. And I think he competed at welterweight. And I remember this is just a brief conversation that I spoke to Keon about, and I remember it was Ashley and who else was there with me when he was telling us? It was Ashley's corner, and what's this guy's name from the Bronx? Why can't I get? I apologize. My mind is gone. But Keon told us that he was there with, I don't know if it was his manager or somebody that was with him at the time, and he told us that they had just finished competing in some type of Olympics or national competition, and then he was going to make his debut soon. So so
Shao
that's
would
why.
say Keldon is on the roster of fighters.
Okay, so he is okay. So all right, so that answers that. So they could have been he could have just got added, and he could have just got added last year on the Shakur undercard because that's where I first seen him on Top Rank was under, and that's when Keyshawn was on that card too. It was the Shakur Stevenson fight in Newark last July, the one where Oshaki got robbed
Yeah.
on the
Yep.
co-main event. Yeah, so and that's where we met Keon too. So So it's interesting to see what happens, but that make sense. I would hate to see it if Bob is really going to do that. Honestly, I would doubt that because if he's there at fights talking to guys like Turkey, if Turkey's willing to make a fight, he's got to obviously go through Bob Arum. If Turkey can't just go ahead and say here and make the fight, he can't do that. A lot of people think that Turkey has the money, makes the fight. He still has to go through the promoters. Now, usually the promoters are
Yeah.
going to say yes, right? Because he's putting up the money. So I would see what happens, and I would hate to see him out for a long period of time. Now if he was suspended, that's a different story. Then you know what? You got to pay your dues. You got to suffer the consequences. But if he's
Right.
not suspended and Bob has put him on the shelf, 6 months I think is fine by your own promoter. But for your own promoter to punish you that you didn't get suspended by the commission or anything like that, anything
Uh,
over 6 months, I think that's a little harsh in my opinion.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, you got to think about it. He lost a lot of money for Bob Erm. Bob Erm wasn't able to get the percentage of his purse for the fight, and they lost a lot of money as far as the tickets. A lot of people was uh, asking for refunds on their tickets, so he lost a lot of money for Top Rank. So I can't see. I mean, Bob, Bob don't play when it comes to his money. So Bob could have been like, man, you lost a lot of money for me. I'm gonna put you on the shelf. You ain't Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm putting you on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, that's right because a lot of refunds were requested after that. After he came in overweight, way overweight by the way. So
Yeah, I think
let's see what
they
happens.
went from like 15,000 that tickets sold to like only like 8,000 in attendance. So that's
Yeah.
7,000 people that didn't show up.
And then not to mind you, the promotions it costs to promote the company, promoting the event, booking the venue, make it was supposed to be a big show. It was a Virginia, a Norfolk homecoming for them. So, yeah, so
Mhm.
that was you're spot on that, bullseye and as as Shao puts it, definitely. What I didn't like what he said was he said, I don't know, 135 or 140. He got to stop kidding himself. 135 is done. Don't let's stop it, Keyshawn. Let's
Yeah.
let's not get crazy. You just came in at over 140, pretty much. You're not going to 135. Stop it
No,
already.
I don't think he was saying that he was. I don't think he was saying that he was going to 135. I think he said people was asking me, "Are you coming back to
Okay,
135
okay,
or
okay,
140?" Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, because we know
All right.
he already said I'm moving up anyway. That's the first thing he said when he came in overweight. He was like, "Well, I was moving up after this fight anyway."
Mm, okay. Yeah, that's what he said. So, and then he also, by the way, he also apologized not only to Albright, he also apologized in the live to Abdullah Mason as well. He said he was out of character. He also apologized to Abdullah Mason as well. I thought that was pretty cool and humble of him to do that. So so that was good to hear him do that. Just don't like the retirement talk. I don't like that. I don't like the mindset people even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? So and then coming
Yeah.
back to fight, it just tells me that you're not going to be all the way in it. That's just
Uh,
how I take it.
I just
So
I just want to know where all the videos about Keyshawn retirement. Everybody throwing videos out about Tank retired. I don't hear nobody throwing no videos out about Keyshawn.
well, I
I
think
think
it's
I
pretty fresh. It's been like a couple hours or so, maybe 3 or 4 hours. I don't know.
man, dang where them dudes was on that joint like hot case with Tank Davis.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's true. So maybe tomorrow. But that leads us basically to what I wanted to talk about. The big news that it looks like that it seems from the sources that I've read and that everybody read that Tank is retired. I've also seen sources that Tank is not retired. So we don't know what's what. But I do feel like that Tank is getting. We made a video a few months ago after his fight with Roach, making fun of not making fun of him per se, but more making fun of the Tank fanatics, right? But now I think this is more towards the Tank haters. The fanatics is one thing. A fan is going to be a fan, and they're going to just cheer for you whether you're right or wrong, whether you're healthy or sick. You know what I'm saying? They're going to push you to do things that they can never do. You know what I'm saying? But the haters or the people that don't like him for whatever reason, I think they're a little bit too harsh on Tank, and that's what I really wanted to speak about. Because
Yeah.
months ago, I want to say it was November, December, he came out and he made a statement that I don't think a lot of people spoke about. I've seen some people speak about it, but not many people. And he was talking about he needed therapy. He's talking about that he wanted to do therapy, that he was done with boxing, and that, he didn't want to do therapy now because, he can't do therapy and fight at the same time, because he won't give it his all or what the case may be. You know, Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read it to you. I don't trust these copyrights and stuff, so I'm not gonna play anybody's interview or video. So I'll just read what Tank says. He says, this is what he said. I believe this was in December. If it was not December, it was late November. He said, "That's why I don't want to box anymore. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it would lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me, whereas though I'll never think about fighting again. I don't think I don't think about even getting angry. You know what I mean? Because I have two girls, two daughters, wanted to be much softer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But more humble and things like that. And he kind of like, put his fist together. So like to me, I kind of took it as a little bit cry for help. And I know people, when you talk about boxing, you want to see the guys, you want to see the best fight the best. You want to see people earn their shot and then, win their shot and then unify and just strive for greatness. And that people kind of give him a hard time because he's been fighting a couple of 130-pound fighters. He's fought Hector Garcia, then recently with Tank Davis. I mean, not Tank Davis, excuse me, with Lamont Roach, and
Hmm.
people want to see him fight Shakur. They want to see a couple years ago they wanted to see him fight Devin. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that was a cry for help, and I think people are a little bit too hard on the guy. And
Yeah.
as fans, we don't live in this guy's brains. I was watching a couple other interviews that he did talking about his upbringing, you know,
Hmm.
and how it was. And I'm not talking about he said he's from the trenches and he's from he's from the hood and stuff like that. He was talking about his mom and his dad and how his mom and dad, they were on drugs and they didn't really care what he did, and eventually he got taken away from them and he was put in like a group home, and foster care and stuff like that until I think his uncle kind of saw him fighting one day and he took him to the gym and he kind of took everything out of what was going through his mind out in the gym, and that was his therapy at the time. Boxing was his therapy. So now he's talking
Hmm.
about therapy outside of boxing to kind of get that rage out. And I'm going to read another interview, but I just wanted to, what's your opinion on it, and then I'm going to look to the chat, see what people think before I go to another statement that he made
Yeah.
about
No,
therapy.
I think when he was talking about that, because I remember that interview, he was talking about being there for his daughters. He can't be the man that he is in the ring and be around and still be the father that he wants to be with his daughters because he wants to be a loving father. And the man that he is when he's in that fighting mode is an angry individual. He got to have that fire in him. And so that's the reason why he was saying he wants to go through therapy to get all of that fire out of him. But he said he can't do that until he's done with boxing. And I think a lot of people looked at that, and that's why he said, I'm gonna be done with this at the end of 2025. And because he was trying to line up the fights that people wanted to see him in there. He was trying to get the Loma fight. That fight fell through, and then they sent the offer to Shakur. That fight didn't go through. He ended up getting the Lamont Roach fight, and then the fight didn't go the way that he expected to go. So he had to end up fighting in March of 2026, and then it ended up being a draw. So they were setting for a rematch. So I think he was trying to line up all his ducks in a row to where by the end of 2025 he fought the guys that, or a majority of the guys that people wanted to see him fight, and then he was going to be done. But it didn't happen the way that he had planned for it to happen, and so he's in this situation that he's in now, where he had a draw with Lamont Roach. He's trying to get that fight, and then the whole situation with his baby mother. So I think it kind of put a halt on his plans of with the therapy situation. But then again, maybe this whole situation with his baby mother, he might say, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through with the therapy and just say I'm done with boxing. I haven't heard him say that he's done with boxing. I know a lot of people is going with the quote that Rick Glaser came out with and said Tank Davis is retired, but in the same quote he said Tank Davis will come back if the money gets low or whatever have you. But I think that whole interview was about him being a better father to his kids, and that's why he was saying he wanted to go through therapy.
I agree. I agree with you 1,000%. And I'll add to this, with the situation that just happened recently with him and his baby moms and stuff, you know, we don't know what the situation is. It's easy for us or for anyone to say, you know, he's got to leave her, right? It's very easy, right? And I say he should do the same thing. Maybe he needs to get away, but you don't know what's going in his mind. You know, how sensitive he is to his kids and to his family. Maybe because of the way he was brought up, maybe his life because separated from his mom and dad for the certain times, seeing what they go through. Maybe he's afraid what his daughters may go through with his baby moms, and they want to try to make it right. And he's um for the benefit of the kids. We don't know, what I'm saying? And
Right,
that's why I think it's wrong when people kind of get at him. And it's so easy because everybody is different and everybody's
right,
situation is different. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of unfair, and like I said, I'm guilty of it too. As I'm guilty of it as well, because I'll be one to say, he needs to leave her. But
right,
like we don't know what he's going through as far as maybe he's scared for his kids. Because listen, if they go through court and separations, forget about the money. Let's forget about how much she'll get and this that. Who cares? It's
right.
how long he'll get to see his kids and the custody battles and stuff like that. And
Yep.
maybe just maybe. And I want to say, forget the maybe. I want to say he loves his girls very much. Because I
Mm.
can never imagine a father not loving his kids. Even though we know that there are fathers that don't care. But let's go with the best possible scenario. He loves his kids so much he don't want to be separated from them. Let's put
Yeah,
it like that.
I'm a piggyback
So
off of what you just said real quick, before Marky go. Um, we gotta understand and take heed to what you just said because of his upbringing. Because we hear BVO say it all the time. We hear Dub Rightside say it all the time. How they felt because their father wasn't there, and they want to be a better father to their kids because of the void their father left when they wasn't around. And so when you think of that, you got to put yourself in the same situation that he was in. He was in a situation where he didn't have neither one of his parents. Neither one of them was there for him. And so he might be looking at that situation like, hold up, now I don't want to have my kids grow up the same way I grew up, where I didn't have neither one of my parents. So a lot of people say, hey, he needs to get away from him, but you don't have the same mindset that he had, because what he went through, it was traumatized to him. And so he don't want his kids to go through that. So he could be thinking totally different for what we thinking. We looking at the outside looking in. He's on the inside. It might be all peaches and cream, and then she have moments where she'll just go a little haywire. We all dealt with situations where a person is a nice person, but they have their moments. We
Hmm.
all dealt with type of people like that. So it might not be as bad as we think it is. We just on the outside looking in. And of course, the media and the news is going to blow it up a lot worse than what it really is. But we gotta sometimes let things play out, because we're so quick to jump to assumptions and say, oh, he did this, or she did that, or they this type of person, they that type of person, until the whole story come out. You be like, oh damn, I didn't even know it was like that. So sometimes we got to take a step back and let things play out, because it's not always as bad as it seems, or it's not always what you think it is. And sometimes it could be totally different, and the situation might not be nowhere near as bad as what we think it is.
No, absolutely, I
Nah,
agree. Real quick,
you got
guys. No, don't, Marky. Before you go and BBO, I'm gonna read one more thing. I didn't want everybody to come up right away. I wanted us to cook a little bit before, but I'm gonna let you go next, Marky. Let me read this next one, and then we'll get into it. So here's the piggyback off of that first interview that he did when he's talking about therapy. There was another interview that he did, where the interviewer he questions says, you mentioned at the next stage of your life you wanted to see therapy, become a better person. What does that actually mean? Then he says, what do you want to get out of this therapy? So Tank replies, he says, more so healing myself and just whatever I'm going through, wherever I've been through, just let it all out and just be like, okay, I'm done with this chapter. Like that little boy chapter that you hold on to your past that you want to let go, but I can't really let go in front of like people and things like that. Because I still feel like I was brought up a certain type of way, but once you walk, you leave them doors. You still got to be this way. You know what I'm saying? So that was his response. So to me, another kind of cry for help. He's basically letting you know that there's things on his mind other than boxing that's taking him to a different place, and he's not focused on boxing, and he really wants to focus more on his family life. That's kind of how I took it. I'm gonna Marky Dan came first, then we go to BBO, and then we get kind of touch up on it, what we all think and what our opinions is. So Marky Dan, you go ahead and talk about it.
yeah. A lot was said, but my main thing is a woman only has one time to call the police and say that I'm trying to unalive her, and that's really it. Like she's not ever gonna have any more contact with me ever again. And then the idea that if it is the case that Tank wants his kids to have a better life where they have where they have two healthy parents and they're not getting traumatized, I mean, look at the results and you can really say it's been counterproductive. Like that event where the girl was wiping poop on his toothbrush and drawing on his mirror and calling the police saying he's trying to unalive her. His daughter was alive and healthy and was there for that event. And then, I mean, he's not in this kid's life. Like there's a separation order. There's a protection order out against him so that he can't see his kids. So if that was his objective, he's failed. Like respect, at least at this point, he's failed. So if I was in Tank's situation, because again, you're right, I didn't come up in a situation where I didn't have my mother, because she was doing what she wasn't supposed to do, and I didn't have my father. But no, I would not interact with that young lady. It wouldn't have even been a thing where she can even see me on Father's Day, or I gotta hand her the kids back. No, I would have dropped them off at their grandparents or some other third party. But I don't know. Maybe I just pray to God Tank will learn his lesson. I don't know uh if him and the young lady are actually in a current relationship or anything like that. I know after that whole police call situation, he made the decision to go and have another child with her. I think he should just cut all of that off, like straight up. Like even if even if it's the case that okay, it's this young lady that's agitating you. I mean, just stay the hell away from her. If you can't, if the two of y'all can't be around each other and it can't be a cool situation 100% of the time for the kids, stay the hell away from each other. Like like me and my child's mother, like I've never had to have the police called on me, and I've never been in a situation where I feel like I'm fearful of my life or my well-being around her. And it's never been that situation for my young newborn or my young 8-month-old child. It's never been that situation. So I don't know. Prayers for these people. I hope Tank, cause like I said once again, I didn't have his upbringing. I hope he can get the help he needs so that he can make better decisions. Cause he should have never went back and had another child with that young lady at all whatsoever, and he should not be communicating with her at this time either. Well, go ahead, BVO.
Salute to Tommy. Salute to Puerto Rican Free.
Oh, they both Puerto Rican. Shoot the both the Puerto Ricans and shoot the what's left of Marky Dan. I would say this, man. No matter how it goes, we as people, we all have seen this situation happen before. I think the thing that sucks with Abdul Wahid is he had a lot of promise and he's 30 years old and he necessarily didn't do it. The thing is, think about this. Muhammad Ali missed 3 years of his prime. He still fought everybody. It's just how it goes. When you have talent, you want to see guys, do the best with it. But as far as the whole family stuff, I want to see Abdul Wahid enjoy his life, man. I think he got really bad people around him. A lot of yes men, a lot of people who don't tell him, "Hey, man, just get away for a while." You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm kind of tired of talking about this. It's the same thing like when Devin had his restraining order, man. You gotta know how to deal with women. It's just that simple, man. Ain't nobody. These are grown men. They know better than what they doing. You know you're not supposed to be screaming at this broad. You know that. If anything, you got to control yourself. But Tank is the same guy who. Let me see if I can find that quote. Hold on 1 second. This is what Tank said in a direct tweet. Women think they know so much, but can't tell when they sleeping with a gay man. That's something that Abdul Wahid put on his Instagram, on his Twitter. So obviously he's not well. You know what I mean? He got to get some help. That's simple. That's what he put.
Who's that
What
laughing like that?
That's
are you laughing
Marky
at?
fake laugh.
Oh.
I mean, just to be totally honest, man, I just hope he gets some help because I say this, man, going to counseling is not weak. That's why we have Dr. Fields come every Thursday and we talk about trauma. I suffer from things. Tommy suffered from things. We were walking through the Bronx and Tommy was scared to death in his own neighborhood.
Jesus Christ.
So that's all to tell you, man. That's how it goes, man. But all jokes aside,
Man,
man. All jokes aside, man. We all go through stuff, man. Getting help, there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's fine. I'm gonna
Go ahead.
man.
let
Long as
Hot Rod
Tommy ain't making no comments like that, you good.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna let Hot Rod cook before I go. Welcome to the panel, Hot Rod. What's going on? Is he there? Oh, there you go.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yes.
What's good, man? Um, Niggas see this shit every day. Only difference is he's a professional fighter. You know, that happens every day in America. So that's really the only difference is he's a professional fighter and it's
Mhm.
it's known globally. It happens every day.
Yeah.
So I don't feel anything.
All right.
It, it
I
is
mean,
it, it is what it
and you're
is.
right. You're right about that. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that we all go through things, and like Marky Dan was explaining earlier. I believe he said he didn't have his mom for part of his life. I grew up pretty much
No, I had my
mostly.
mom.
Oh, who was it that you said you? I thought you said I missed it. I'm.
No, he said
No,
he
I said
didn't grow
Tank.
up
I
like
said
Tank
Tank didn't
David
have
did
his
not
mother.
have it.
I
Oh,
had my
oh,
mother
oh,
and
oh,
I had
oh,
my
okay,
father.
okay. Oh, okay, okay. I apologize. Well, me, I didn't have my mom and I didn't have my dad. Although they were alive, they did crazy stuff and they did drugs as well and they did stupid stuff. And I was lucky enough that my father at the time took me and my brothers to my aunts, which is my mom's aunts, so pretty much my great aunts, and I was lucky that they raised me and my brothers, and you know what, I turned out fine, and I like to say, I don't want to say that I won at life, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like I've won at life because I beat the odds, right? As far as, I've seen my mom and dad split up and do all sorts of crazy stuff. I see my uncles, remarry, for a second time. I've been married 23 years. I got two beautiful kids. I've got a great, great family, and and I got great things going on. At the same time, it wasn't easy to get to that situation, but I feel like, you know, I was in that system too. I was not in a foster home, but I was in the foster care system. I had to go to court every now and then because for my aunts to legally kind of adopt us and stuff like that. So I had to go through the system, but I was fortunate to be with family. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody's been different and everybody's upbringing, but but at the end of the day, you don't know what they're thinking. And what I'm trying to, point out in this live, as far as, Keyshawn, Tank, and then we're gonna get to Xander, is that fans kind of overreact and they want more. And I guess it's fine. That's what fans do. But they've got to understand that even though they're on TV and doing these things and, they're millionaires or thousandaires, whatever you want to call them, they're human beings as well. And they go through shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes we're a little bit hard on them, a little too hard on them at times. And and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Or maybe I'm in the wrong even thinking like that. And that's why you guys are here to kind of check me on that and give your opinion and assessment, through the process, through what they're going through and how we're thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. No, I mean I believe you in the right mind frame. Because like I said, they they are human. I mean, Tank Davis went through what we might look at as something that goes on every day in America. um, that's something that was traumatizing to him. Growing up without your mother and your father was traumatizing to him. Um, and the relationship that he has with his baby mother, a lot of people would say it's a toxic situation, but you don't know the bond that he has with his baby mother. You don't know how much he actually loves his baby mother or how much she actually loves him. Even though they do crazy stuff, you got to remember they were young adults when they got together. And when I was at his same age when I had the situation that happened between me and my first wife, and I was with her for 15 years. And when I tell you, you don't understand the situation unless you actually been through it. So I understand what he's going through, because I didn't want to leave our home neither. I wanted my family to grow up in the same household, but it came to a point where I looked at the look that my kids had on their face when they got of age to understand what was going on, and I saw the look that they had on their face, and I said, you know what, enough is enough, and I decided to leave. But when they was babies, I went through all of that because I didn't want to split up our home. So I can understand what he's going through as far as dealing with his baby mother, because I've been in that situation. So a lot of times, like I said, we're on the outside looking in. We don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. It can be all peaches and cream behind the closed door, but when they have an argument, it might get bad sometimes. But it looks a lot worse because the media is going to blow it up, and people are going to get in the business, and they're going to throw out different scenarios of what could have happened, and they're going to throw out different narratives of what might have happened, but nobody knows exactly what happened except for the people that was there. And so that's why I say a lot of times we just got to let these things play out, because we don't know what the situation is. We just going by what somebody else said or what people believe could have happened until the situation play out and we see both sides of the story, and we say, oh, you know what? It wasn't as bad as it was, or it was as bad as we thought it was, but we will never know until it plays out. So I mean, I don't think you're wrong, Tom. I mean, we gotta look at it from a clear mindset. You can't always look at it. Oh, this is a boxer, and I expect this out of him. No, this is a human being. You're gonna have situations. They're gonna have ups and downs, just like everybody in life. Whether they're a boxer, whether they're a movie actor, or a president, or a congressman, or they work at McDonald's, they're gonna have ups and downs in life, and that's just part of life.
yeah, you're right. I agree. And then, also the people around him, the people that are supposed to be managing him and guiding him, they're not doing a great job as well. You know what I'm saying? They're not taking care. I don't think they're doing a great job mentoring him or putting him in the right situations, you know, to do the right thing for himself. You know what I'm saying? I think they're just letting him be and do whatever he wants to do, or and I think he needs help, and I think So these interviews that we're seeing, or these little spurts that he says online, is little by little, those are little cries for help. Like he's looking for somebody to help him. He's looking for some sort of guidance. And I think it's kind of wrong when people kind of make fun. Let's call it what it is. Make fun of it. You know, instead of like saying, what, this somebody needs to do something. That's what I'll say. It was the same thing, not it's not the same thing, but it's kind of similar to like Adrian Broner.
I was about to
Agent,
say that. I was
yeah,
about to say
Agent,
that.
yeah,
You got
he
to
was
look at
going,
his two
yeah,
mentors was Adrian Boner and Floyd Mayweather. It was his
yeah,
two mentors. That's who he had to look up to.
yeah, and that's not good, right? So
So
it's
so
good
you
in
had to
some
look up
ways,
to
and
the
it's not good in
youngest.
other ways. Hmm?
So you had to look up to the youngest four division champion in boxing history. We've been boxing almost 200 years, and then he got to learn from the greatest box office attraction that boxing almost arguably in sports entertainment, one of the biggest box office
You
attractions in sports
But you
entertainment.
talking about the boxing aspect. We talking about the person. We're not talking about the boxing aspect. We're talking about the person. Adrian Boner was another person that was crying for help, and the way he cried for help was he was taken to alcohol. We saw Floyd Mayweather had cries for help, and his situation was he was going through different relationships with women. He didn't like this woman, and he did something bad to that woman. He ended up going to jail for it. So these were the people that he looked up to. So you saying he looked up to these guys, a four-division champion, a great boxer in the sport of boxing. You looking at the boxing aspect. I'm looking at the person. We only see them on TV. Tank Davis is dealing with them behind the scenes of their everyday life. Those are the guys that he was looking up to.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see what people are saying in the chat, and everybody's making great points. I don't dismiss anybody's opinion. Um, I mean, he could be, at the end of the day, he could be a piece of shit, and we don't even know that as well. But I think some of these bursts that he's doing, or these are kind of cries for help. So
You hit a pregnant lady. You get in the accident with a pregnant lady. You look her in the face and you leave her right there. That says you're a piece of crap to me. But I don't know, Tommy. You from New York? I guess y'all got a different standard out there.
yeah, that's a low blow. But what about? I mean, look what Shakur did with that lady in the gas station.
Hibachi
Uh,
already free.
uh,
Did
what
he?
what was
Did
said it? What was that?
No, he was saying free hibachi. He talking about Gilbert. Gilbert's already free.
did Shakur push the lady? Or I remember he
No,
was
I
he
think
whooping the
hit
I
the
hell
think
out of
he
lady.
I
somebody.
think
Well,
he
well,
kicked her.
well.
I
The
think he
late.
kicked her like a field goal for like 30 yards. That's what it looked like.
He
But
hit the
wasn't her
lady.
man? Wasn't he in a fight with her man? And
She
she was
was she
grabbing
was
him.
trying to she was trying to break the fight up. He hit her. He
Yeah, I
was
thought
trying to
he
break it
kicked
up.
her.
Hey, didn't he
Uh,
hit her? Didn't he hit her in the back of the head and like she looked like a
Yeah,
fly had hit her?
he punched her in the back of the head and he kicked her.
damn.
Yeah, I don't remember the punch, but I could have sworn he kicked her. So
Yeah, no, he
But
did both.
but
He
but
he hit her in the back of the head
Wow,
and he
I
kicked
see.
her.
I see you an informant. I see you an informant, Tommy. He
I'm an
kicked her.
informant. Jesus. So I'm an informant, and I'm a piece of crap because I'm from New York. You guys are off the hook tonight, man. I swear to
No,
Jesus.
I'm just saying. That's
Ave
the
Maria, man.
Nah, I'm
shout.
just
Shout
saying.
out.
I
Shout out
mean,
to the man named after the sex position.
the 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 the,
but
the
You
but
point
sound
of
like him right now.
the point of the whole situation is these guys as humans, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna do
Yeah.
things that normal people do every single day. No, I see men hit women every single day. I see it every day.
Have you
This
ever
ain't
heard a
something.
man say this before? D free. Women think they know so much, but can't tell when they sleeping with the gay man.
Yes, I have heard a man say that. I have heard a man say that, and he was talking about her man. She was like, "Oh, you think you know so much? You don't even know that you're sleeping with a gay dude."
Hmm. Oh. Well, I don't
I
know.
put
I'm
it
ready
like
to move
this.
on. I think before. Sorry, BB. I think the
But
point I was trying to make, in what I was trying to look at and try to get your opinions, guys, was that, as fans of the sport, do we really Do we just care about, the guys in the ring, beating each other up, or do we kind of appreciate what they have to go through before they get into the ring? Or you know what I'm saying? So are we fans of the sport, and what these fighters go, when I say fans of the sport, what these fighters go through, the training and everything, the sparring, and then get in the ring and whatever, or are we just fans of just the fighters, of certain fighters because they're Puerto Rican, or because they act a certain way, you know what I'm saying, or because they have a great story, you know what I'm saying, or are we just in there like, oh, I just want to see people take their heads off, so there's three options. And I'm trying to say that I'm a fan of the sport and what these guys go through, and not all of it is peaches and cream. Like, some of these guys, they go through stuff, and we shouldn't be too quick to make judgment on them. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much where I'm getting at. We don't appreciate what they go through from start to finish. We only appreciate the result of what happens in the ring.
I guess. I mean, I don't
It's a
mind
result
if you a
oriented
fan.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
It's
fair. That's a
it's
I
fair.
mean, I
that's how
mean
it is, and
boxing.
that's how it is in life. It's
Hmm.
result oriented in everything you do.
Nah,
Right.
facts, facts. But boxing, I mean, it doesn't really have the luxury of deciding what type of fans it don't and don't let it does and don't let in. So whatever reason, if you're a fanboy for a boxer, if you love boxing, I mean, I appreciate you. 'Cause this is a dying sport.
Yeah, that's true. I like what you said, Hot Rod. Um, that was spot on. That was perfect. Let me go to the next topic. The next fight I wanted to talk about. And I know Hot Rod's got a lot to say about it because he went in the chat earlier. It's so good, but I want to talk about Xander. Um, Obviously I'm a fan of Xander, and
World
obviously, and
champion.
he's a world champion. But what I'm a fan of Xander, but I've always been a fan of Xander because, like I just said recently, he's a Puerto Rican fighter, so I tend to support the Puerto Rican fighters a little bit more than other fighters. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate all fighters, because you guys see me when I go to these events. I communicate with everybody, and BVO will be a witness and tell you that some of these guys know me. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but they know who I am just because of I've been to the events. But with that being said, I support Vander. We did a live right after that, and I criticized Xander. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really give him his flowers like I thought I should have, and I think others have. And I've seen other lives and other videos of people going in on Xander. Talking about he's the worst of the four champions, that he got gifted the championship, et cetera, et cetera. And what I'm saying, my point before you guys go in, is that I think that's a little bit unfair. I think we should appreciate what he's done, and really look at how he got there, instead of like, oh, he fought an easy guy, and not give him his credit for what he just accomplished. So
Yeah.
I mean, Hot Rod, you
I
could
think I
start.
think they hate
Well,
him because he a black Puerto Rican.
Jesus Christ, Hot Rod, I'll let you start because I know you said something in the chat, and then we'll go to Marky Dan, and then we'll go to BVO with his. I'm not gonna say it. Go ahead, Hot Rod.
My my thing is this, and OGBVO, OG Free, and Marky already know how my mind of thinking is. I don't care what race you are, what color you are, where you come from, where you where you live. I don't care about none of that. All I care about is, can you fight, and can you fight at the elite level? Because yeah, y'all niggas hear me all the time. I call these niggas bums, trash, all that. But on a professional level, he's a bum. On a professional level, he's not elite. That's what I be saying. Like I said, OG, he man won that belt. But who you fought to win that belt?
Mhm.
You may be a three-division world champion, but who did you beat to become a three-division world champion? You may be such and such, but who did you beat? Who did you beat matters, OG. It matters. That's why I say Devin Haney has a manufactured career. Look who he beat to get them accomplishments. Now we seeing the same thing with Xander Zayas. And you sitting here saying it's not easy to become. It's not easy. But when you got top rank leading the charge, and you're Puerto Rican at that. They waiting for a Puerto Rican star. They thought they had in Berlanga. They let him go. So Xander's in the catbird seat right now. He got the same problem like Boots, in my opinion. Yeah, okay, I see he got some skill, but can I see it on the elite level? Can I see you fight somebody elite? Show me you can do that on the elite level, dog. Show me in a 50-50 fight where you got adversity and you going to get some motherfucker where niggas really don't know if you can beat that person. Show me you really like that. That's my problem with these fighters. They don't show that, bro. Y'all be believing that shit because of y'all eye tests. I'm not with that eye test shit, man. Yeah, some of these niggas got skill, but show me when you can do that against the elite. Show me. You can't do it against the elite. How can I say you're elite if you can't be the elite fighter? Devin Haney, y'all niggas said he was elite. Y'all said he was elite. Brian Norman, y'all say he's elite. We finna get that fight. We finna see who's elite. David Benavidez, y'all say he's elite. Crawford, y'all say he's elite. Canelo, y'all say he's elite. We gonna see. That's all I got, OG. He just got to
I,
fight somebody, OG. That's all
I
I'm
know, I
asking.
agree. And you know what, I agree, and I
That's
think
all
that
I'm
was part of,
asking.
yeah, and I agree with you, and I think that was part of my criticism is that yeah, he won, he won a world title, but I don't think he's ready for those top guys, and I think one of the top guys is Virgil, and I think Fundura is also a top guy. But to be fair, as far as the top rank issue and as far as the Puerto Rican issue, is that they tried to make the fight with Fundura, they didn't want the fight. The manager rejected the fight, and the manager definitely said he didn't want it in Madison Square Garden. If they would have did it in Madison Square Garden, I understand that, but they probably would have did it upstairs in the big house instead of the theater. That's just in my opinion. But at the end of the day, they tried to make the fight with Fundora. Now, whether or not he's elite or not, we don't know that. I think at 22 years old, I think he still's got some growing to do. And listen, I got Adam too. I got him. I thought the fight was a lot closer, and then you got guys like D Free and somebody else saying that I didn't see the fight like they did on TV, and they gave me other reasons. I still think the fight was much closer than what it was. I didn't like the holding. I went into all of that. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. But I just think that we should applaud the man for being a world champion at 22, from where he came from his beginning. He's been with the same coach since he was 11 years old. I believe he didn't have his father in his life at the same time. His mom raised him. All the little intangibles that not really necessary, I guess. But yeah, no, 1,000% I agree with you. We got to see how he goes. To compare him to Berlanga, I think is definitely unfair, because obviously Xander works hard, Xander takes it seriously, and obviously Berlanga didn't at one point, and that's why Top Rank, they did let him go. You know what I'm saying? If they thought if Berlanga was more serious and they thought Berlanga was something to be, um, was going to be something, they wouldn't have let him go so quickly. As far as becoming a champion so quick, Keyshawn became champion quick, I believe after 13 fights. So Top Rank does two things, but sometimes you got to be lucky at the same time too, right? Because Xander was supposed to fight Fundora. If Conwell would have beat Chino, which is Garcia, that's his nickname is Chino, so I'm gonna call him Chino. If Conwell would have beat Chino, then maybe Xander would have been fighting Chino as well. Or maybe Golden Boy would have been like, nah, hold up, maybe we're gonna take Conwell and we'll put a bid on the vacant title. You know what I'm saying? So nobody saw this happening, as far as the title being vacant, for the opportunity, to get this title for Xander and Chino to get that title fight. So we don't know what would have happened, but at the end of the day, we do know that Xander was trying to make the fight with Fundura. So go ahead, anyone.
I
I
can
don't
say
know.
this, man. To see you guys totally hate a young brother from Puerto Rico who made it 22 years old, became a world champion. I think it's disgusting, man. At the end of the day, he's going to get better. He's the youngest champion of boxing right now, and just to see the love and adoration the man has from his people, they're behind him. And let's guess what? Xander might not be the best. So what? If he's not, guess what? You can't take it from him. He's a world champion. Shout out to my man. Tommy. When he met him, he had tears in his face. He was trying so hard.
It's so full of shit. I
And
swear.
it's great. It's great because guess what? There's a reason why he's in the position he's in, and we're gonna see what happens, man. But enjoy Xander, man, because Xander, guess what? He might not can beat Virgil Ortiz. He might not can do this. He might can do that. But he's been brought up the right way, and I think Bob has done a hell of a job with him. And I can't wait to see him. I think his first fight should be against Kelly, as a homecoming fight in the big house in Madison Square Garden. And anybody who want to come take the belt off his waist. Everybody knows so damn much. Come fight him for the belt. How about that? I say Xander beats him up. It is what it is. Take the belt. If he's so soft, take the belt from him. That's all I got to say.
This picture, there's no tears in my eyes. He's a liar. Go ahead.
I don't see the picture.
Nah, this is the thing.
Hold on, you said I had tears when I met Emiliano. I ain't had no tears when I met. I ain't get to meet Emiliano.
This is the thing with Xander. I don't think that he's elite. I think he's a very good fighter. Like Thomas said, he was trying to fight Sebastian Friedor. They was the one that turned down that fight. He also signed the contract that Virgil gave him an hour to sign. He signed that contract in 10 minutes. So it wasn't like he wasn't trying to fight these guys that we consider the top guys at the weight class. He was trying to fight them. They was the one that decided to go a different direction. So we can't put that on Xander Zayas. We got to put that on them. They went the other direction. He was going at them. They went the other way. So I'm not going to say he's an elite fighter. I think he's a very good fighter, and I think he gives guys a lot of problems, and that's one of the reasons why Virgil didn't sign didn't gave him an hour to sign the contract. That's one of the reasons why Sebastian Friedor decided to drop the belt. These guys, they like I said, they went the opposite direction. Nobody's called out Xander Zayas since he won the title. I haven't heard nobody say, "Oh, look, I want to fight Xander Zayas." Jerome Business just moved to the weight class. He's looking for a tune-up. Everybody says Xander Zayas is an easy fight. Jerome Business ain't calling out Xander Zayas.
Well, he's looking to take the so-called easy route because that's why they're going the WBO route. So that, to me, makes it look like he's going the easy route because everybody's saying that Xander's the easiest of the four, and I believe that's fair.
No. He don't have to go and get in the WBO ranking system. He can go right at Xander Zayas. Hey, Xander Zayas, you trying to fight? Xander Zayas ain't got no mandatory.
Yeah, he can do that, but I think the problem is I think the WBO already granted him a title defense in Puerto Rico, and I think they got Kelly is ranked one.
All I'm saying is ain't nobody calling him.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody calling for Xander Zayas. So I'm not saying that Xander Zayas is an elite fighter, but he ain't as easy as people think he is. He's not that easy, because if he was, everybody would be calling for him. Everybody that's at 54, they would see that belt on Xander Zayas and say, "Hey, that's an easy belt I can get right there. Let me go fight him first, and then I'll worry about these other champions." Ain't nobody trying to fight that man right now.
And just like Shawa said in the chat, he did call for Baki too. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's calling for the smoke. He wants to fight Virgil.
That's what I'm saying.
They had a back and forth on Twitter, I believe today or yesterday. Virgil and him, they went back and forth. So I mean, I think he wants to fight. As it looks like he wants to fight anyone. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is this, though. I will say this: it doesn't look like he's going to fight anyway, because it looks like he's going to take a soft touch in Puerto Rico. I doubt that title defense in Puerto Rico is going to be a big time fight or one of the champ. I clearly doubt it.
I don't care what it is. If it's a soft test, so be it. These guys had the opportunity. They decided to go to the different direction. So y'all went a different direction. So now it's his turn. He got the driver's seat. Now it's his turn to go the opposite direction. if he choose to. Y'all did it. Ain't nobody say nothing about them when they did it. So why y'all gonna say something about Xander Zayas because he's doing it, but because he's not the popular guy or he's not the top guy, so you think he shouldn't have the right to do it when these other guys did it to him? No, y'all got to keep it across the board. They did it. Oh well, ain't nobody say nothing. Then don't say nothing when he do it.
Uh, I agree. I mean, we always, I mean, not we, but sometimes we and other content creators, they always call out people for ducking other fighters and why he's not calling for this. Listen, at the press conference, Xander told everybody at the post-fight press conference that he fight anybody. He said he would fight. He wants to fight Fandura. He wanted to fight Baki. He wanted to fight Virgil Ortiz. You know, whether or not I think me personally, because there's other people that have opinions as well, think he's ready. That's another subject. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I personally don't think he's ready for Virgil Ortiz. I personally don't think he's ready for Baki. I think he beats Fundora. But what I think and who I cheer for is not going to change, the result of the fight. They have to get in the ring and fight and prove me right or prove me wrong.
And
You know?
that was the first name that he called out after his title fight was Boxrom. He said, "You looking for an opponent? I take that fight in December." I didn't hear Boxrom say, "Hey, let's make that fight." That was the first name he said after he won. After they raised his hand and they did the interview in the ring. He said,
Hmm.
"Boxrom, you looking for an opponent? I take that fight. I'd be happy to get in the ring with you." I ain't see Boxrom say, "Hey, let's make this fight. Let's make this unification fight." So I mean, we can't get on a guy because he didn't fight top competition for the
Yeah,
belt. The top competition didn't want to get in the ring with him for the belt.
yeah. And listen, if he does fight Bakram, if they made that fight, guess who would be the A side of that fight? It'd
Them,
be Z-
it won't
it'd
be
be
it
Z-
won't be Xander. It won't be Xander
it will be Xander.
against
Xander would
who?
be the A side. Bakram, because he's got the bigger promotions. They're the ones that will promote the fight.
Maybe
Bakram's
they
with main
might promote the
events.
fight.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
unification Xander would be the A side,
I mean,
and
I mean,
I think that
top
fight would
rank
be in
might put that
Riyadh.
fight on. I mean, who's Bachron with?
he's with main events.
Oh well, he's
He's
with main event. So yeah,
he's with
if
Duva. Yeah, he's with Kathy
he's with
Duva.
main event, then yeah, top rank will put that event on. I thought he was with Queensbury or Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, unless like somebody just mentioned, unless Turkey calls for it, and then you know then we'll see. But at that point, Turkey would run the show, but he would have to obviously go through both promotions. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean yeah, but if top rank put on the event, of course, uh, Xander going to be the A side because that's his promotional company.
yeah. So I mean, listen, I just trying to say, like, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram, especially, kind of get at Xander, and I'm like, and I get it, and I understand, and I just think it's a little bit unfair. Like, the guy's only been
Uh,
champion pretty much is going to be a week
uh,
tomorrow, and like people are like, oh, he's not that good, and it's like,
I
come on,
mean,
man.
like I
A
said,
lot of people become world champions kind of the same way.
uh,
There's people that become champions by email. Like Rolly. Rolly was just got elevated to the WBA champion today. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna come down on the guy because he beat Garcia for the championship. I mean, Garcia just beat Conwell, and I was hearing everybody was talking about Conwell this, Conwell that, and I was like, man, I was one of the few people that said Conwell got to show me something. I haven't really seen much from Conwell, and I said he got to show me something, and he got in there with Garcia, and Garcia beat the brakes off of him. And I was like, man, this is what y'all was telling me about Conwell.
yeah,
Man, this man he ain't all that. So I mean, I'm not mad because he beat Garcia. He did way better than Conwell did. Did
he
way
did,
better than
and
Conwell. Everybody was sitting there giving high praise to Conwell, and they were like, "Oh, that's bad news. Bad news about to go in here and do his thing."
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, we'll see.
And to be fair, I like Conwell, and I think Conwell had a bad night against a guy that's very awkward, and Conwell couldn't adjust. Now, whether or not, and to Xander's credit, Xander did better than Conwell did. Now, if Conwell is to fight Xander, it's a totally different matchup. It's two different styles. So,
Shaw would say, "Don't do my guy
Oh
like
wow!
that."
So she said, "Don't do like I like." I agree with you, Shaw. That's what I was just saying.
I'm just
I didn't
saying.
even see what she wrote, and I was saying the same thing.
I
He had an
I
off
had
night,
only
so yeah.
seen I had only seen two fight. I had only seen two fights from Conwell, and I was like, I don't really see much from Conwell, but everybody was so hype on him. I was like, all right, maybe he'll show me something. And so I had high hopes for him in that fight with Garcia, and Garcia beat the brakes off of him. And I was like, man, this is what y'all was talking about? Because I ain't seen much.
I just
So
think
I
that
mean,
Conwell had the wrong game plan, and I just think that he didn't adjust. That guy's a very awkward fighter. He's not as easy as it looks. Like I mean, Xander beat him, and some people thought Xander won easy. I personally don't. That's just me. But but the guy's awkward. The guy throws punches kind of like Mayorga, like out of like from different angles. Like he's very awkward. I think he's a pretty solid puncher as well. And listen, Conwell couldn't adjust. That's just, he had a bad night. It happens. Styles make fights, and that was a style that he couldn't adjust to. It happens. Listen, Vernon Forrest lost to Mayorga twice. Mind you, Mayorga got in his head, but it just happens, man. That's boxing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna shit on Conwell for that. But at the end of the day, Conwell had an opportunity and Xander had an opportunity. Xander won, Conwell didn't. So
uh, I mean, yeah. I mean that's what I say. Because I think Garcia gives a lot of guys problems the way he fights. He throws a lot of big shots. He's a big puncher. He throws a lot of big shots, and like you said, he fights awkward. I think he gives a lot of guys problems, and that's the reason why I think he only had like 3 losses when he faced Xander. He got his 4th loss against Xander, but he
yeah,
had majority of his wins was by knockout
yeah,
because he throw a lot of big shots. Um, but Xander Zayas, like I said, I had Xander Zayas winning that fight 9-3, and I gave the dude 3 rounds. And Xander Zayas had a perfect game plan for him. He was in and out, giving different angles, and he used that jab. And Garcia couldn't figure Xander out. The couple of times that he was able to land shots on Xander, Xander was like, "Hold up, let me get this the reset, and we're gonna take it back to the center of the ring, and then we're gonna start it all over again." But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not mad at Xander Zayas for doing what he was supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to. If you in there with somebody that's not as talented as you are, you're supposed to show that, and you're supposed to beat them. We don't see that a lot of times. Guys that's in there with guys that they supposedly clearly outclass. We don't see that a lot of times. We see
Yeah.
sometimes they have a hard fight, or sometimes they even lose that fight. So I'm not getting mad at Xander for doing what he's supposed to do. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, would I say he's elite? No, I'm not saying he's elite. He didn't beat anybody for me to say he's elite. And a lot of guys that's in the sport of boxing today is not elite. They're very good, but they're not elite. And I've been said that. There was a lot of guys in the sport of boxing. 90% of the guys in the sport of boxing are not elite. You got a lot of very good guys. You got a lot of good guys, and you got some okay guys, and then you got everybody else. But I don't think hardly anybody in the sport of boxing is elite. I mean, it's probably maybe a handful of guys that you can probably name and say this guy is elite. Maybe a handful. Other than that, everybody else is either good or very good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then, after elite, then, once in a while you'll find somebody that's special. So, because I think that after elite comes special. I think you got a special fighter. So, but yeah, man, that's what I got, man. I just basically wanted to talk about this and just talk about like the fans in boxing. Like, we too critical sometimes, are we just way too critical than more appreciative on what these fighters do? And that's pretty much the narrative that I was trying to get out today and discuss. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody is as sensitive as I am. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, and BVO's a witness, I do communicate with these fighters. And some of them do communicate back with me. It's not just me going up to they communicate with me at the press conference. I had a nice little conversation with Shushu. I thought that was good. And listen, like, you do feel a type of way towards these fighters after you communicate with them, after you
Hey,
have a conversation, you know what I'm saying? So you feel like I'm not saying that we're best friends, but if you see them in the ring getting beat up, you're gonna feel a type of way. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Yeah.
that's just. I mean, that could be just me, or that could be
Hey,
anyone.
I
But
want to I
you
want to
know,
say one thing before we get out of here. Um, since you finished with all the topics that you had, shout out to my daggone Commanders, boy. We about to get that stadium back in RFK. We about to get that stadium. They about to build the best stadium in the world. $3.8 billion, the biggest
Jesus.
deal that DC has ever had in the history of DC. 3.8 billion.
Without Terry McLaurin though,
Nah, Terry McLaurin ain't going nowhere.
he gonna get traded.
If anything, Terry McLaurin be leaving next year. He won't be leaving this year. I mean, the biggest concern. I mean, Terry McLaurin just said, "Hey, I requested a trade. That was the only card that he had left to pull. I want to request a trade."
Is he
Now,
gonna hold out?
I mean, he's holding out. I mean, well, he's holding in. He's holding in. So he won't get fined 50,000 because he already owe about 800 million. I mean, 800,000 right now because he didn't do the mandatory training, and then he held out for the 4 days that he held out. So he already had to pay 800,000. So he's like, I'm not losing no more money. So I'll hold in, but I'm not losing no more money. So like I said, the worst case scenario, he'll play this year, and then we'll find out what's going to happen at the end of this year. But the bigger news is, I mean, Terry just asked for a request for a trade, just like I said, the last call for him to pull. But Michael Parsons came out with a whole goodbye letter to the fans of Dallas. That man said, "I am not staying here. I want to get traded. Goodbye. I don't. I try to get ahead of the curve, and I wasn't cared that I was going to lose money. But Jerry Jones didn't want to extend me. He tried to get an extension last year, and they didn't do it. He tried to get an extension earlier before any of the edge rusher got a contract, and his agent told him, "No, just hold out because if somebody else get a deal, it's just going to make your deal bigger." He said he didn't care about none of that. He knew he was going to leave money on the table. He just wanted to get a long-term deal done, and Jerry Jones would not listen to him. He said, "Okay, well, that's the case. They don't want to. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to my agent. I'm good. I'm right. I want to get traded. I want to be up out of here." So,
I've heard about that, and I wonder if Seattle might be in play for Parsons.
Of course not.
they
But
might be.
I was reading an article from somebody that um, one of the Seattle sites, and they saying that they could put into play because they need a running back, and they may trade Kenneth Walker and maybe throw in some draft picks or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what Seattle's going to do, if it's rebuilding or they trying to win. I'm not sure where they're at. I think they're rebuilding, but they're sure signing and signing people and drafted people like they want to compete. So so that
Well,
would be good if we can get him, but at the right price. I know Kenneth Walker. I like Kenneth Walker, but he's injury prone. He can't stay healthy.
yeah, that is true. So I don't. I mean, well, you never know what Jerry Jones what he's thinking. This man, he don't think like a rational person. So
Nah, he
you
don't.
never know what he's thinking. That man might say, "Hey, all we need him for is about 10 games. If he can stay healthy for 10 games, we good." So you never know.
I think the best news that you gave was that the Commanders are going to finally get a stadium than that shithole that they've been playing in over the last bunch of years. That's probably one of the worst stadiums and the worst place you could play at is where the Commanders play. So I think
How
that's the
would you
best
know?
news.
You ain't never been to the stadium.
I've
How
seen
would
a
you
lot of
know?
people. I've seen a lot of people get hurt on that field on TV.
Shit, I see the Giants lose their daggone starting running back for a season on their field.
Eh,
I
I
didn't
mean,
get
people
that
get
one.
hurt. People get hurt everywhere. Everywhere they get hurt everywhere. I done seen people. I done seen people get hurt and daggone and daggone Seattle with all that goddamn rain they be having. They could be slipping. Their whole field is ain't nothing but a slip and slide. They got a slip and slide field. You just slide to the end zone. You
I
ain't
think
even got to run.
the last big injury Seattle had was that was crazy. Was probably Earl Thomas. I think he tore his ACL. That was like the last big one of a big player that got hurt
Yeah.
that I can remember. It was Earl Thomas. But
Marky Dan is mad because his stadium is still old. All they did was just change the name on their stadium. Their stadium is still the same stadium it's always been.
Marky Dan just jumped in the wagon. He just started liking the Eagles like 3 years ago.
Man, Marky Dan started liking the Eagles when they made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Bandwagon jumper. But yo, guys, man, that's all I got. It's great to be back on live on Friday. We're definitely gonna come back next week. Maybe we'll mix in some football now that preseason is about to start. Um, definitely tune in this Sunday, Tales of the B side. I think this is gonna be a good one. This guy got a lot of stories. After we do this, I'm hoping to bring him on and just talk boxing with us, like on the not on the regular, but like bring him in and talk to us like on our shows, with the Sports
I
Talk
just hope.
Network. I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah.
He already told me a couple stories that I'm like, wow. Like he told me a story about when he was helping Roger Mayweather get ready for his fight against Costa Zoo in Australia. So I can't wait till he tells that. That was a pretty cool one. But
All I'm
yeah,
gonna say
man.
is, I hope you rest up, Keyshawn, in your retirement, and we'll see you at the fight because he said he's still gonna be at the fights. He's just not gonna be in the ring. So
Yeah.
hey,
Well, that's what I'm
rest up
saying. He
on your
was at the
retirement.
fight in the Shakur fight in New York. He was there. So let's see. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, guys. If you guys got any final words, go ahead. I appreciate you guys coming up. My man Hot Rod was great today, man, and I appreciate him coming up and always giving his input. You guys give him a hard time. You gotta leave this guy alone, man. I like Hot Rod, man.
Nigga Doug told me some damn. I was about to pull up. Dub,
But
how about you just go live and then we can pull up on you.
yeah, go live, Dub. I'll come through for a little
Hey,
bit.
Tom, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
How was your trip?
my trip was good. We just went to Connecticut. I went with the family. It was good. We had a good time.
See, I heard you
Went.
just went to Coley Island and came back.
This guy, man.
That's
I can't.
Coney
what
Island
I heard.
it's like going around a corner.
I heard you took your goofy ass to Coney Island and came back. Said you was on
Yeah.
vacation.
Shout out to my man Johnny Boy Boxing, man, coming through. Johnny Boy Boxing, fight hype, man. He has the best interviews, man. I don't care what Johnny Boy will tell you. He has the best interviews in the business. He says, "What up, fellas? Boots will be the last man standing at 154, undisputed. Hope Xander can do it, but natural talent is Boots."
Hey,
Yeah.
Boots,
I don't
Boots,
know.
Boots
I
is
don't know
not a
what Boots
natural
gonna do.
talent, man. Stop the cap, Johnny.
Hey, I mean, if
Xander's gonna beat the fried chicken and
Boots wanna
watermelon.
tune up at 54. How about he revisit the Conwell fight? Revisit that
Xander
fight.
Xander kicks his black ass, man. I'll let you know that right now. He'll beat the black off of Boots.
Yo, VVO, you out of order, man. And speaking of out of order, my man Dub Right Side pulled up anyway. What's good, Dub?
Man, my bad, TD, man. I ain't see y'all was live. Y'all gotta let me know. But I wanted to pull up real quick. I gotta say this. The worst general manager in the history of the sport of football, Jerry Jones, strikes again. He strikes again. I argue, free. Tell me if I'm lying about this. I argue free down. I said, man, they're gonna figure a way out to get a deal. I said they're
Hey,
gonna figure a way out. And then you do all this nonsense. Michael Parsons said, you know what, I just gotta come out and tell y'all the damn truth about how bad this damn shit is. I done listened to Jerry and Steven sit up there and talk in press conferences. And Steven sit there and say, well, Jerry, he don't always talk to the agent or the lawyer. He talked to the principal being the individual that they're trying to sign. He got a whole conversation going about leadership going on. Michael Parsons thinking, okay, this is about leadership. Now, if we talking contracts, let me bring my representation in here. And this is the bullshit that Jerry Jones didn't pull.
hey.
It is what it is. I got it. And free, correct me if I'm wrong. I told you, I don't wish death upon nobody. The Cowboys will never win a Super Bowl as long as Jerry Jones is alive. I say that
Yeah.
respectfully. I say that
Yeah.
respectfully.
Hey,
Real
that man,
before you
like I
go with
said,
football, so hold on one second, D Free.
uh,
Angel Diaz, you're right, and you put his name in there like 3 times. Yananis Telis, the Cuban fighter. He's a monster at super welterweight. He's just up and coming. He's got 10 fights. I believe he's fighting
yeah,
in a couple weeks. But yeah, look out for him. That's another super welterweight. You're right.
yeah.
Angel
Tellez
I
Diaz.
seen
can fight.
him fight too.
Tellez
Yeah,
can fight.
he's
Tellez can fight.
Yeah.
he's yeah. But go ahead. I wanted to mention that because
Yeah,
he
yeah,
put it in there a few
I seen
times.
him. I seen him fight a few times too. Yeah, he's good. But like I was saying, I mean that man Michael Parson that man said I was willing to leave money on the table. I just wanted a long term deal in Dallas. He said I didn't care that I was going to leave money on the table. I tried to get this contract extension last year. He tried to get
When
it
did you hear
last
that? I
year.
thought he said he wanted to be the highest paid defensive player
Nah, that
in
man said
NFL history.
he said he wanted to get the contract done last year, but Jerry Jones didn't want to talk about it. So he said, I didn't complain.
No,
I
no,
just went up I went
no,
on
that's not
and
true.
did huh?
That ain't true. That ain't true, Free. What happened?
I'm telling you what the man put on his
No,
daggone
no.
IG.
It's not
I
true,
read it.
man.
I done read it. I done read it more than you will ever read it.
No,
Hold on.
I
Listen,
got the
listen,
daggone IG clippings.
listen. Free. What happened was, so he told his agent to reach out at last year, and his agent was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, we a little premature with it." So he said, "Okay, cool." Then when it came back this past year, that's when Jerry them was so out of order, trying to negotiate with the man without his agent, those type of things. That's when Jerry them got out of order. But his agent originally did say that you're gonna leave money on the table, and ain't no agent trying to leave money on the table. Even if Micah is saying he want to leave money on the table, the reason I'm your agent is to make sure that you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for your best interest. So his agent did say that they want to wait till some of those other deals got done because it would lead to a bigger deal for him. He wanted to do it as far as leaving money on the table, but he listened to his agent, which that's what you should do, in my personal opinion. It's negotiating 1-on-1. You listen to your agent, and so he wanted that deal, and he didn't mind leaving money on the table, but having a great agent like he has. That was the individual who said, "Wait a minute, take your time, we'll figure this out." And then it came down to Jerry. Them, who knows what they do, bro? I don't even know what they do no more. So it is what it is.
I don't know if you
We
I
just
don't
gave
know if
real quick. We
what
just gave a contract to to Ferguson, and shout out to him. He a hell of a tight end.
I
This
don't
man
know
ain't
what
nobody knew what Michael Parsons is. What are
I
we
don't
doing?
know. I don't know what differently did you say that I didn't say, but oh well. Like I said, the man was willing to leave money on the table, and he said I didn't care that nobody else got a deal. His agent said, "Hey, let these other deals go through because it's only going to mean the price is going to go up." He said, "I don't care about that. I want a contract now. I want a long-term deal now." This is literally what he said. He said, "I don't care about that. I want a contract now." And they didn't get the contract. And he said Jerry Jones didn't even want to talk to his agent. He wanted to talk to him. He was like, "Man, you can talk to my agent." And he said Jerry Jones wouldn't even talk to his agent. So he said, "I want out. I'm not trying to stay here. I want to be gone." So I mean, everybody was making a big deal about Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin would he just said, "Hey, I want to request for a trade," just to pull the last card that he had. This man wrote a whole goodbye letter to all of the fans in Dallas. He wrote a whole goodbye letter. That man put like 96 bars together. And I was like, okay, yeah, I want to see what all these Dallas fans are going to say now. Because everybody was coming out with the news about Terry. Oh, Terry put in a trade request. Let's see what they talk about with Michael Parsons. This man wrote a whole letter saying he don't want to be in Dallas no more.
Well, as a Dallas fan, just listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Jerry Jones is out of order.
Yeah,
That's what I'm telling you.
I've been through that. He's been out of order since he's been the owner. He's been out of order.
So I don't know. I mean, damn, what else you want to hear? What else you want to hear?
Jerry Jones?
No, you.
Where am I on the list?
No, I said what you want to hear. You said you looking to see what the Dallas fans gonna say. I'm
Oh
telling
no,
you,
no, no.
Jerry Jones is out of order.
You're one of Dallas fans. There's a lot of Dallas fans. You got Knockout. You got G5. You got Kwee. You got you. You got who else was a Dallas fan
Hold on,
that be in the
am I
chat?
keeping it? Am I keeping it a buck or not?
I mean, you probably gonna be the only one because everybody else gonna make excuses.
I can't be
Maybe
the only.
you and G5 probably the only one that's gonna keep it a buck. Everybody else gonna make excuses why Jerry Jones said what he said. I mean, why Michael Parsons said what he said. Everybody else gonna
I'm
make
just gonna
excuses.
be honest, free. I'm just gonna be honest. Y'all tell me, I'm the only one who keep it a buck with Devin. I'm the only one who keep it a buck with the Cowboys. I can't be the only one keeping it a buck out here.
Hey, you're gonna get voted out of Dallas Cowboys fans as well. You might
They
get
already
voted
voted
out.
me out one time with Devin, so that's a fact. That's a fact.
You're gonna be voted out of the Dallas Cowboys fan base. But
I can't win out here, can I? I can't win.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all defense gonna look like. See, like when you get a man that put out a letter like that and he said he don't want to be here, he don't care about getting no contract extension no more. When you get a man putting that letter out and you ain't getting nothing done, and they probably still not gonna do nothing by the time the season starts, how much of a 100% are you gonna get out of that player? Is he gonna get you another 10 sacks this year? Or is he going to say, man, I'm just out here just to be out here, just to get my paycheck?
He got to, you as a football player, one thing you always understand is you got to still get your numbers regardless of what your situation is. Because if you don't get those numbers, then your situation change in the offseason. So you still got to get those numbers. But at the same time, he shouldn't even be in this position. It should have never got to this. And for Jerry to do what they're doing right now, I mean, it's blasphemy, it's ridiculous, it's out of order. Without me cussing, I don't know what else I can call them. But some of the worst management, some of the worst GMing, some of the worst player personnel, construction, management, whatever you want to say, is some of the worst that I've ever seen. And Jerry, can I cuss over here? TD, can I cuss over here?
Yeah, sure.
Jerry, fuck you. And fans, as a true fan, I try my best not to hate anybody. I don't want to say I hate you, but if there's anything closer to a dislike that I could say, that's the word that I don't know what that word is.
Hey, this is the reason why Jerry Jones always hovering right around the salary cap. This is the reason why. Because this man waits till the very last moment to get a contract done where he has to pay these guys ridiculous amount of money because the market then got set so high because he waited to the last minute. Instead of just getting it out of the way early, he waits to the last minute. Now the market got set so high that you going to be hovering right around the daggone salary cap. And then when it comes to next year, you're like, man,
Free. I tell you every time we have a show, Free. Every time we have a show, Free, I tell you, Jerry Jones is the same individual that tells you deadlines make deals. That's what he will tell you. Until the deadline is there, I ain't trying to make no. We're gonna see what happens. He's the same guy that tell you this stuff.
Well,
so I believe him when he
says. Y'all might need to get that man a deadline of making the Super Bowl or something.
Man, we need to send some of the Russians in there and kneecap this brother. That's what he
Y'all might say, hey, look, you got a deadline of making the NFC Championship. If you don't make it by 2026, you out of here. He gonna wait until 2026 to make the daggone NFC Championship game.
He not gonna make it then. he might. Never mind. I ain't even finna say what I was about to say. I ain't even finna say that.
I mean, like I said, he gonna be right there, and he gonna try to get a contract. If he does get a contract done, watch what I tell you. Michael Parsons is gonna set the record for the highest paid edge rusher in the sport of football. and they only gonna have like $2 million above the salary cap come next year. What did I tell you?
America's team, baby. I'm sorry, man. I had to do it. I had to.
This man Jerry, he always stay in the news. Now, if you need a team to be in the news, Jerry Jones is going to find a way to make sure Dallas Cowboys is in the news. Whether it's going to be a big contract signing or it's going to be a bonehead move that he make, he's going to make sure the Dallas Cowboys is in the news.
I want to tell y'all, and this is the honest truth. I want to say fuck all y'all, but I can't even say it
Jesus.
because it's really it's fuck Jerry. I can't say fuck none of you. It's really fuck Jerry, man. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Listen, man. Let me tell you something, man. It's. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, Dub. I was like that with the Yankees when Steinbrenner was in control for a long time, and eventually they won with Steinbrenner as the owner. But Steinbrenner was the worst, and especially in the '80s, in the early '90s. It took a while. So I know what you're going to. They're definitely similar. Jerry Jones has too much control. You don't let the people, do their job. George Steinbrenner was exactly the same way. So I feel your pain.
And the problem with Jerry is he don't have nobody in position to do their job. He does all of them. That man, he got like 17 jobs in the sport in the Dallas
Nah,
Cowboys
you
front
now,
office.
now you're lying. Now you're lying. For he got people in position. The problem is he still even when he had the people in position, he still want to be the main attraction, the main star. He wa- he really want to. If the Cowboys win, he really going that man want all the credit in the
I,
world if they win. And it's some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life.
I think Jerry Jones might be the only. Matter of fact, I know Jerry Jones is the only owner in football who's the owner and the GM. He's the only one. There's
He's
nobody
the
else.
technically he's the de facto GM. The real GM, well, I don't want to even put it. He the
Ain't no
GM.
real
Fuck
GM. He's the GM.
no, no, no. Fuck it. You right. I can't even. I ain't even to argue that shit no more. I done argued that long enough. I ain't even to argue that shit.
I mean, it might be an acting GM, but Jerry Jones is the real GM. You got an acting GM, somebody that's put in a position of quote unquote the GM, but we know who the GM is.
Man, fuck y'all. I'm going to bed, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I ain't never seen I
Y'all
never
have a
seen
good night. Good night. Good
I
night.
mean
Hey, Dub, man. Jose just got me upset, man, and reminded me the Yankees lost today. So
yeah,
Good.
I
Shut,
was going to
he
shut
say
this.
said
that,
good.
but
Hey, shut
we
this
was
motherfucker
on
down.
some
Shut it
serious
down,
topics.
man. I ain't trying to
I
hear
was
this
going to
slander
say
no
something
more.
about that,
I ain't trying to hear
but
none of it.
we was on a serious topic, so I ain't bring it up. But it did come across my
I
screen
ain't.
right
I'm
before
not
you
trying to hear none of it.
clicked the
I'm not
live
trying to hear what you
that
talking
they
about,
lost
fool.
13 to
I'm out.
12.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out.
Yeah, that joint did click across my screen that y'all lost 13 to 12. I was like, dang.
What's funny is that we started off the show talking about fighters and not fighters per se, but we talked about Tank and therapy. You think that was a little bit of therapy session that Dub just did right there? That was his therapy right there. What do you think with the Cowboys?
Yeah, Dub might need some therapy. He might need to find out who Tank is seeing. He might need to go. Him and Tank might need to trade numbers. They might need to trade numbers so he can find out who he need to talk to. Because I know Dub is on the other side of this daggone screen. Like, man, it's some bullshit. I was just talking shit all year long. I mean, all off season. Now I gotta go through this bullshit.
Rage quit by Dub.
I ain't never seen Dub quick to live like that. That man said, "I'm out. I'm out."
Yo, Dub, you're doing a fantasy football league with us? Because you could take it out on
Yeah,
us in fantasy football, and then you could rage quit that.
yeah. Dub said he is gonna be in the fantasy football though. He did say he was gonna be in it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you guys don't got any final words, I'm gonna play
Matter of
the.
fact, speaking about fantasy football, when are we gonna set up for the draft? When we gonna do the draft? Because
Let's talk about it.
fantasy, the
Yeah,
season
let's
starts September 4th.
let's talk about it this week so we can set the date and set the rules and stuff. We're gonna try to keep it as simple as possible,
Okay.
and then we'll set up the dates
All
and
right. Yeah.
stuff.
So we'll talk
So
about that Sunday.
okay, bet.
All right.
Any last words before I play the outro? I'm gonna play the Tales of the B side, and then we out.
Nah, I mean, appreciate you had me up there. I'm glad we back, and I will see you next week.
Absolutely. I appreciate everybody up here. BVO, Hot Rod, Dub, Marky Dan. Am I missing anybody? That's it. And I appreciate everybody that what happened?
Did you say
Oh,
BBO?
and BVO.
Yeah, he said
BVO.
BBO. He
I
said
did say
BBO.
BVO. Yeah, I said those are the first two. I said BVO, Hot Rod. But I appreciate everybody in the chat that stood with us and commented and helped me through this live as well. Everybody put in their part. Definitely appreciate it. Another thing I want to bring up: Ring Talk. Not Ring Talk Worldwide that I do radio. Ring Talk Conversations that I started a couple months ago. I only did 2 episodes. I did one with Keith, one with Ishe. It's gonna come back. I got a few fighters I want to bring in. I think I got one in line that I want to bring on. If not this week, but next week, definitely. He's a prospect, sort of a prospect slash contender. He's got 1 loss. He had a bad loss, but he's a solid fighter with Top Rank. So I think I'm going to start off with him. I'm not going to say the name, but that's another show I want to bring back and start doing that again and bringing these conversations with these fighters. So, and I'm looking to get Shushu back on as well. So that was one of the things me and Shushu discussed. He did say he had a good time on the show. He said, yo, no cap, you guys, it was fun. So thanks to BVO asking the dumb questions in that interview, but he remembered. So definitely we're gonna try to get Shushu back as well. So that was another thing I
Okay.
wanted to bring up. So, but you guys be safe. Catch us this Sunday, and also catch the Sports Talk Network as well throughout the week. So with that being said, have a good night, everyone.
Peace.
Usual suspects.
From Buffalo, New York, ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, the IBF #1 ranked welterweight in the world, Ross the Boss Consa.